Good afternoon, Internet. Welcome to episode 4 of Livewire Connections, the Spring Has Sprung edition, part 2. I'm Henry Clifford. I work at Livewire with the best technology people in the business. We are broadcasting live from the home office here in sunny Richmond, Virginia. I want to thank you for joining us. I know we've got customers, employees, first-time callers, long-time listeners on with us today. We know you have a choice how to spend your lunch hour, and we thank you for choosing us. We started this show because our customers have been asking us to do this in person for years. The pandemic has killed traditional opportunities to meet new people, so the idea of doing a show with industry experts and inviting our community became a no-brainer overnight. In the coming months, we'll be hanging out with tech industry experts every month to make sure you get answers to all your burning questions. Speaking of questions, if you have them as we go along, just drop them into the chat and we'll have a chance for some Q&A at the end. Cool? Let's take it away. I'm honored to be joined in the studio by an industry rock star. I'm talking about none other than Snap AV's JD Folks, Sunbright's product marketing manager. Welcome, JD.
Thank you. Glad to be here. I don't know if I've been described as a rock star too many times, but I'll take it.
You heard it here first, man. Let's get into it. So tell us a little bit about your backgrounds and how you came to be doing what you're doing at Snap and with Sunbright.
Yeah, so I've been in CE and CI pretty much my entire career, sales and marketing with some of the larger electronics companies, and audio and also TV. And the opportunity to join a growing company like Snap with so many great products, and specifically Sunbright, with my background in TV, was just too good of an opportunity to pass up. And so I've been there a few years, and it's been great so far.
Awesome. And tell us about your sort of your upbringing, your childhood, all that good stuff. Like, where'd you grow up, and just tell us a little bit about the making of JD.
Yeah, so I grew up here in Charlotte, and then I spent a lot of time in New Jersey when I was with the electronics company, and I wanted to get back to Charlotte, and again, it was just the opportunity came up to join Snap, and here I am. And now, luckily, all of that culminated with me being here today.
That's it. The road started with a single step. So what about Sunbright? Like, what is Sunbright? Why did it start? I'm gonna hit you with it. It's a triple header question. And then ultimately, why did Snap AV decide to acquire Sunbright?
Yeah, so back in 2005, a group of guys got together and kind of noticed there was no great outdoor TV solution. People wheel out TVs on carts or hang them up to their own risk and put them outside. And no one had made a dedicated outdoor TV from the ground up. So, in 2005, they launched their first TVs that were fully weatherproof and engineered from the ground up to be outside. And the company took off from there. And then, Sunbright was just a great match for what Snap is trying to do. And that is bring to market the best products for kind of the custom install market. I mean, they're certainly available at retail, but the custom install market is where we thrive probably the most, because those are the guys that are doing the premium projects and really trying to deliver an excellent product and excellent service as well. So just it was too great of an alignment of the two companies to pass up for Snap.
Yeah, and how are things going with that market? I mean, where do you see the outdoor TV market right now? Just in general, just how does it shake out?
Sure. I mean, in the past few years, the TV market has been relatively flat to a couple percentage points up, whereas the outdoor market has grown substantially. And with what's happened in the last year, and as a result of the pandemic, and people investing in their homes and looking to enjoy their own outdoor spaces, maybe more than travel, demand has picked up even more. So our problem is more supplying enough TVs than generating sales right now, which is a good problem to have for us. So we're air shipping parts in and everything else to try to keep up with demand.
Yeah. So, and I know you touched on this a little bit, but just help us all understand. I mean, we all maybe talk about this with our clients a lot, but I mean, what makes Sunbright different? I mean, I can just go down to Best Buy or I could order a indoor TV from Amazon and just slap it up outside. I mean, that's the same thing, right?
Exactly. No, you know, the big difference is, you take a TV outside, and there's two main elements that you're going to be concerned about, and that's the sunlight, and then also say rain and weather, dust, kind of the elements, if you will. Um, if you put in, you just go by to your local big box store, grab a TV, put it outside, plug it in, and turn it on. It will work outside. However, your experience viewing your favorite football team or something is not going to be a very pleasurable one. One, it's probably not going to be bright enough. Two, if it is, you can get glare and all kinds of other things. If you were to if you try to put a regular indoor TV in direct sun, you're going to start getting these black spots. Essentially, the LCD panels or shutters will freeze up, and you won't be able to get any sort of picture, let alone just a very washed out one. The other thing, obviously, is the elements. Go buy that TV, let it get rained on, let it get, have the landscaper go by with the blower, get all that dust in there. And then, in a few months, you'll see how well it works. Whether it won't turn on, the volume doesn't work, who knows what can go wrong. It's just not going to last because it's not built for the elements. And I'd say lastly is safety. Our power supplies and power cords are meant to be used outside. So they're rated for outdoor use. So you're not going to have to worry about when they get wet or something like that, they're going to short out and cause a fire or something like that. So those are kind of the three main things, is kind of the durability, the actual viewing experience, and the safety. So what does Sunbright do? All of our TVs are IP55 rated. So that means they're protected against water intrusion, as well as dust, and any sort of smaller particles are not going to be able to make it in there. The power cords are all rated for outdoor use. They're brighter than your typical TVs, and the brightness varies based on series. And finally, there's technologies like anti-glare screens. We have T&I panels on our Pro Series so that you can put it directly in the sunlight and let it sit there and cook in the sunlight. You'll still get a great bright picture. So that's what we do different.
So when you talk about moisture, like what are we talking about? A little light rainstorm, some dew? Like how much moisture are we talking that these TVs can really withstand?
I am a little ashamed to admit that mine sits out on a table right now. And it does exactly what I said, and sits there with the blower, gets covered in pollen, it gets rained on, and I'll go just grab something, wipe it down, turn it on. I have no worries that it's going to work when I go out there. It is more durable than my outdoor furniture, I will say that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it will take direct sprays of water from rain, a light hose, or humidity. Sometimes the humidity is worse than just say spraying a hose on it, because it can seep in a little easier. But it's protected against all of those.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. You talk about the peace of mind of knowing it's going to work. And I think for a lot of our customers, that tends to be a pain point that we can uh, identify and say, yeah, you could just buy a regular TV, but you remember the last time you tried to do something like that, and like, did it work out?
Yeah,
And they usually say, no, it didn't. And often we might recap back to them like, well, we heard you say that time is kind of time and simplicity are sort of your big drivers, not dollars. And yet here we are talking about taking a shortcut here. So I
yeah,
love hearing, and what I also love was I heard you recap back what made somebody different or why somebody should buy an outdoor TV. I heard you list the elements or moisture down. It was like your number 3 or 4 item. The whole idea that you presented around this, by the way, you buy an indoor TV, it was engineered to be viewed indoors.
absolutely.
The light levels, the output, the glare, all that stuff that just, um, I just think those are such good points that you made. Um, what are some what are some tips and tricks with outdoor TVs in general, Sunbright, that you find useful or that our customers might find useful?
Yeah, I think one is choosing the right outdoor TV. Just like indoor TVs, they're not all the same. There's different features and applications that you can choose based on what you want to get out of it. If you have a screened-in porch, it's bright out there. The sun, it's maybe 3 of the 4 walls are outside, and you have a full cover. We have for us, we have the Veranda series. It's brighter than an indoor TV, but it's made to withstand the elements and will be a great solution. However, it's not something you want to put in direct sunlight. Even that one can fail in direct sunlight, and as far as maybe getting some spots on the screen and just not getting a great viewing experience. Um, Now, the other thing is sometimes you're not in direct sun, but it can still be very, very bright outside. Maybe it's just covered by an overhang. The sun doesn't shine on it because the sun comes from the other side of the house, but it's still, bright daylight. And we have our signature series, even more bright, better anti-reflective coating. And so that you have a great viewing experience and it can handle that brightness. And then finally, our Pro series can handle that direct sunlight where the sun is shining right on it. Instead of it turning into a mirror where you see nothing, you still get a great picture. It's not going to shut down from the heat or the direct sunlight cooking those LCD panels. So really choosing based on application is something to make sure that you're doing as you walk through choosing a TV. The other thing is getting a signal outdoors, right? So you got this great TV. Now, what about the content?
Mm.
Um, Something that we have is our waterproof media bay. So whether you're just running an HDMI cable or HD base T into the back of the TV, um, you run it into that media bay, close it. It's got some screws on the back, just thumb screws, and it seals all the way around so that connection is weatherproofed as well. The other thing is if you're outdoors, you're doing smart TV, you got to use your networking best practices. Make sure you have an outdoor access point or the access point that's inside is really close, maybe just behind a window or something. So those are all things that you have to keep in mind to make sure that you have a great viewing experience. It's not just the TV, it's getting a signal there and making sure that's weatherproofed so that you can enjoy it and it works for a long time.
Yeah, I love hearing you talk about it because I think sometimes when we have conversations, it can be oversimplified into potentially whoever we're talking to thinks that the TV just jumps out of the box and just
Yep.
magically works. And I agree, all those things you talked about, infrastructure, what type of source content are we using, et cetera, all those things, that all matters and needs to be thought through. So And you guys are a great partner for that because like you know what we do, and that it's a
Exactly.
product for the custom. It's for the custom installation
Exactly.
vertical, which is amazing. So what about applications? I mean, I've seen Sunbright TVs all over in some of the in places I never would have imagined seeing Sunbright TVs. But I mean, what do you see? What are the most maybe what are the most common applications, and then maybe what's the wildest Sunbright application that you've heard of?
Yeah, sure. The obvious one is in people's back porches, right? That's probably the first one you think of. Or the sports bar down the street that's got an outdoor patio. So that's another thing is all of the Sunbright TVs are equally at home in a residential application or commercial. And that's probably even maybe a larger growth segment for outdoor TVs is the commercial segment. Then where might you see them that you're not going to expect to is sporting stadiums. There's baseball stadiums they've been installed in, several of them, football stadiums, and then even amusement parks. Right, you're going to go through and there's a screen telling you which way to see an attraction. The label might be covered up in that application. That's probably a Sunbright TV if it's outside. So they're out there in homes and everywhere else that you see a screen outdoors that's getting a lot of light. There's good chances of Sunbright.
Yeah, yeah, I see them. I've seen them on motorhomes,
Oh
boats.
yeah,
Wait, yeah, to your point, waiting in line, bored out of your skull at the amusement park. So yeah, Sunbright is surprisingly ubiquitous as far as where it speaks to the reliability.
yep, absolutely.
I mean, if some of those large theme park companies are doing business with you, it means you're doing something right. And what about as you think about recent Sunbright product releases or areas of pride where you think about the product, what are you most proud of, or what are the most exciting recent releases?
We've refreshed our line over the past couple years, and we're continuing to do so. And actually, one of the things that I like the most is um, we're not refreshing it every 6 months. So you can sell with confidence on the price. You can sell with confidence um, that we're going to support that for several years to come. So I think that we put the time in to build them from the ground up to be durable, and they last in the marketplace. They last in the application. So I think that's something that I really like. We have our Pro Series. We've got a refresh of that coming out just around the corner, so stay tuned for that. We're trying to bring those in as quickly as possible because there's so much demand for them, and that's just it's the ultimate outdoor TV from the way that it handles reflections in direct sunlight, the way that it's got this tempered glass. So if you have it in a commercial application, it can handle, I think, like a 5-pound steel ball dropped from 5 feet above it or something like that. It's
Is it
amazing.
as good as the Cybertruck's handling of the steel ball?
I've seen ours tested, and it did not shatter in front of thousands of people on live on the internet. So we might be one up on Tesla there.
That's great.
But yeah, great durable products. They're just they don't break is kind of the biggest thing really.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree with that. And what about since I mean it's just you and me here, JD, nobody else, just us. So is if anything new and exciting coming out at Sunbright that you want to let us in on?
Yeah, I'd say just keep an eye out for future products. I think you're going to see um, eventually you're going to see some consumer technology or the indoor technologies working their way in someday. So we'll say that.
All right. Well, we'll have to just have as my mom would call it, we'll have some wait and see pudding on that one. So,
But yeah, I think the next thing you'll see is our Pro Series in all seriousness, and it's just awesome.
yeah. Well, this has been amazing, and with that, I'd like to throw it open for Q&A. If we have any questions out there, go ahead and drop them in the chat, guys. And Ashley, do we have anybody who's asked a burning question yet? No, not yet. Okay, well, guys, this is your chance. Anything you ever wanted to know about outdoor televisions is but a question away. Uh, you've got the man himself here, JD Folks, online with us through the tubes of the internet. Happy to share anything. And so, by the way, JD, what is the largest size outdoor TV that we could get right now through Sunbright?
Yeah, we actually have from 32 to 75 inch. So we have a whole range of outdoor TVs. So multiple sizes for multiple applications.
75 inches. That's just tremendous.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. And then do you see any from a persona perspective? Do you see any of the shakeout? Like we'll talk to folks and they'll tend to be either outdoor TV people or they won't. Or it's interesting too. We tend to see folks who are screened in porch people where they might definitely almost see that as an extension of the indoors. Then there's outdoor folks who are like, go kind of all out where, I mean, we've got a customer who's got two at his pool, one up at the barbecue, one down below at the other barbecue. I mean, they're not missing really anything that's going on. I mean, do you see any kind of fun sort of persona breakdowns there, or like anything in psychographics that you've observed?
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of crazy installations you've seen, but I would say across the line, it's everybody from someone who just gets a 32 inch TV to put in the covered porch, like you said, to just, they'll have 4 TVs out by the pool, lined up side by side by side by side, so they don't miss a single sporting event while they lounge in the pool. So, I mean, it's everything you can imagine.
That's great. So Brad Camp asks, does Sunbright plan to add smart TV features in the near future?
Yeah, I would, tomorrow or the next day, there's not a pending release, but it's certainly something we're investigating. So kind of, how's it going to work? How would it work with our platform? Which smart platform to choose? There's multiple ones, and sometimes those are tied to the panels, and sometimes they're independent. So there's a lot of kind of sausage making that you have to do to incorporate smart. And the other one is we have to really think about how it's going to be supported in the future. One of the tough things for us is because our TVs are meant to kind of be hung and last a long time rather than, people just buying a new one every 18 months. It's got to be a smart platform that's going to be supported for a long time. You don't want to have a smart platform that's out of date in 12 months that doesn't update apps. So we're doing our due diligence on how to do that right now. When that and how exactly that hits the market at some point, I don't have the answer, but it's something we're well aware of and we're working on. But there is something to be said for using an outboard device because of the problem we just said. So you put an Apple TV in, they're going to support their products for a while. And if not, you can upgrade to the next Apple TV. So there is something to be said for that.
Yeah, I can only imagine as a kind of a niche player, staring down the barrel at having to design sort of Sunbright OS or latch on to some Android variant or something,
Right.
and then go, okay, well, we're catering to this niche audience. How upgradable is it? Oh, and how elegant is the user experience going to be? Or is it going to be the night and day experience of getting in your vehicle and observing the clunky UX user experience in your vehicle that's even a few years old compared with CarPlay or Android Auto, which is
Exactly.
constantly iteratively upgraded. Just watching the Apple event the other day, Apple took a pot shot at the smart TVs with their Apple TV 4K
Yep.
upgrade and talking about this is something your smart TV can't do. This is faster, it's more elegant, it's et cetera. So the outboard upgradability piece, that's a very interesting philosophical little conversation there, especially with the outdoor TV and focusing like a laser on almost the engineered agnosticism of an outdoor television as a display device, not as one of these sort of all-in-one
Sure.
deals that we're seeing sort of making their way inside the home more.
Yeah, it's the car analogy of something looking dated after 12 months. You don't. That's what we don't want to get into, and I think we're trying to avoid. And being in the CI channel so much, our partners really know how to incorporate incorporate the different smart devices. Because the other thing is it gives you the flexibility of if you're an Apple home, you can add Apple TV. If you're a Roku home, you can add Roku or whatever the case may be, so that everyone's already familiar with the UI. But there's certainly a demand for I want smart in the TV. I want to pull it out of the box, connect it to the internet, and we're ready to go. So certainly something we're looking at and trying to balance.
Right. I'm sure there's pros and cons to each one. We had another question for Brad. Brad wants to know if there's any plans for new and improved dust covers.
We're working on. I'll say we're working on dust covers.
Okay.
I had some emails this morning going around dust covers, ironically. So it's funny he says that. So stay tuned.
Cool. And then Gigatech Inc. asks, we have an upcoming project, which is 2 blocks from the Atlantic Ocean. All outdoor metal stuff gets corroded. Oh, yeah. From the humid, salty air, sooner or later. We typically spec marine grade speakers in those areas. Are your TVs marine grade?
I don't know if they're spec'd as marine grade. We do have them out in those applications. If you want to get in touch with us, we can walk you through exactly. We can take a look at the application and we can talk, openly and honestly about what we think will work or won't work.
Yeah. And are there areas where the warranty does or doesn't come into play, in some of those installation areas?
Let's see. I think as long as it's inside the United States, or one of our partner, internet, or sold through one of our licensed international partners, and it's not mounted underwater or anything like that, you should be okay. It is powder coated to withstand salt and the elements, but if you have a specific concern, we can certainly try to walk you through and see if there's any reason you should have excess concern. I'll say that.
All right. So Mr. or Ms. Gigatech Inc., thank you. And please see your Livewire sales rep and we will get you well taken care of. And thank you for those great questions. So I don't see any more questions in the chat. And so, man, it's been a killer. Oh, wait, there's one more. On the smart TV topic, Roku is so cheap. Use Sunbright, do what you do best, and let Roku do what they do best. And when they are not good anymore, it's just $100 to swap, not a $1,500. Yeah, and that's great. Mr. and Miss Gigatech, absolutely perfect. I think that goes exactly what we were just talking about, the philosophical debate on, inboard versus outboard. So
yeah, thank you for that comment. Your check's in the mail for.
yeah. Sounds like we have one for the outboard, And I will say, I think that might be a blog topic, inboard versus outboard. So that is awesome. And with that, JD, any final closing comments? Anything we didn't cover that you wanted to talk about?
I think we covered it. I think that I covered it before, but it just the thing that we really the only thing that people really get tripped up over is choosing the right outdoor TV for the right application, making sure you get the right size, right? Sometimes it's almost the opposite of maybe buying a TV at retail, where it doesn't look that big at Best Buy, but then you put it in your living room and it looks huge. Whereas maybe a 42-inch TV looks like the right size, and when you put it outdoors, you say, I could have gone bigger. Secondly is the application. If you put our veranda series, as great as it is, in a direct sun application, the customer's probably not going to have a great viewing experience. It's not built for that. The brightness just isn't going to compete with direct sunlight. You can run into the issues of it getting too hot. So just making sure that you guide your customers through the proper TV to their application, which is it's really just where are you going to put it, when are you going to watch it, and seeing, is it going to be in direct sunlight when you're watching it, or incredibly high ambient light when you're watching it. So if you kind of keep an eye on that, you'll be okay. The idea of the marine grade, it should be fine in a salt air environment, but we want to make sure that our partners have a good installation experience, and the end user has a quality experience too. So that's why I'd rather work with you directly and make sure that it's not some special circumstance, and that's something we pride ourselves on, is delivering that partner service.
Yeah, and we get great service. We love you guys. So with that, JD, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Sharing your time and your talent with us today. Ashley Ray, working the sound booth. Ashley Ray with Be Emergent Social Media, who is amazing. That's right. So with that, we're going to close out this episode of Livewire Connections, and we will see you next month as we explore more cool topics in the tech universe. Have a great rest of your day. We're out.